Tonight,
our mission is to put the IRS out of business.
a taxpayer's fantasy, playing by the rules and not paying any taxes.
We are not tax evaders. We are tax avoiders.
Pilot Connection Society, how may I direct your call?
For a fee, this company says it will tell you how not to pay taxes. The IRS says
They're being hoodwinked by people who are out to make money, period, end of story.
Lynn Sherr and 2020's hidden cameras expose a tax gospel that's lured thousands of gullible people. Untaxes, a great idea or a great hoax? Tonight on Tax Scam USA. And a little girl who will inspire you. The story of Hydea, an 8-year-old like any you know. It hurts when she loses a friend, and Hydea has lost many friends.
I knew that it was a better place for them in heaven because they went through a lot of pain.
A disease from the mother she never knew, fighting it through medical research and through love and hope for the future.
My mommy said people are listening to you, Heidi. It's a miracle because you really know a lot from your age.
Tom Jarrow and the brave little girl named Hydea. Once you meet her, you will never forget her. A friend for life. Look at this woman. She looks fine, but she wants to change. She wants to move her fat around from here to here.
Suck it out of one place and you inject it in another.
It's the ultimate recycling.
Sounds like a dream come true.
I hope my hands become as Arnold would say, I want to pump them up.
But some doctors say, watch out.
This is, at best, a dubious procedure.
Fat sculpting. Catherine Cryer looks at the procedure from daydreams to the operating room. Moving your fat around. These stories tonight, March 26th, 1993, after this brief message.
Whoa, Domino's is cooking! And now every time you call us, we're giving you something for nothing. It's really something. Really something when you call Domino's. Now buy our new large bacon cheddar cheeseburger pizza with ground beef, bacon, mozzarella, and cheddar cheeses at regular price. And you get a medium one-topping pizza free. With zilch, nada, for free. Tell them what our guaranteed 30-minute delivery costs us. Nothing. Something for nothing when you call Domino's.
Our first story, well, we think you're not going to believe it. It really does sound like a fantasy. It's about a group that claims to have found a way for people to get out of paying their federal income taxes. That's right, you pay no tax at all. And this group says it will tell you how to find that golden loophole. But in this part of the story you probably will believe, you have to pay for the information.
And imagine what would happen to the government if this idea caught on, especially now. We are less than 3 weeks away from the federal income tax deadline. Well, many Americans are listening to this message that a legal way exists to avoid paying federal income taxes. But does it? Before you pay any money following the promises of this group and the two people who lead it, listen to what Lynn Sherr has found.
Meet Philip and Marlene Marsh. They don't pay income taxes and don't think the rest of us should either.
Our mission is to put the IRS out of business and teach people to overcome their fear of the IRS.
We have a $1 million reward for anyone that can come up with any law that says anyone has to file a tax return. It does not exist.
It doesn't? So why are we all adding up our deductions this time of year? What do the Marshes know that we don't?
Mike McConnell back with my guest, Mr. Philip Marsh. Philip Marsh founded the Pilot Connection Society. Just to recap, you've not paid taxes in at least the last 15 years.
The Pilot Connection Society is a group that preaches there are no laws ordering you to pay taxes on your income, so you can simply opt out of the tax system. They call it untaxing. The message is part religious, part patriotic, and they claim legal.
The American people have to wake up and take their government back because we, the people, are the government in this country.
Federal investigators call Pilot the biggest nationwide tax evasion scam in the country, whose underground membership is estimated to be more than 10,000 and growing. When 2020 attended a Pilot Connection lecture in Nevada with a hidden camera, about 30 people showed up.
Last year, in the entire United States, the
Internal Revenue Service got one conviction for willful failure to file.
In Dallas, a month later, where we also took a hidden camera, nearly 100 people stood in line on a rainy night to attend a weekly seminar.
Yeah, you can take on the IRS and win.
And recently in Cincinnati, when Pilot invited us to attend, several hundred taxpayers came to find out how to be like the Marshes. The crowd was so large, many had to watch on a monitor in a nearby room.
Federal Reserve owns it all.
They listened to hours of allegations and conspiracy theories, heard the fine print in the IRS code translated into seemingly logical reasons why no one is obligated to the IRS. And whenever the lecture rambled too far from comprehension, Marlene would inject her sales and marketing pitch.
You know, if they had a law, how come they go in and steal money out of your checking account? How come they harass you? How come they use guns? How come they use force? How come they're worse than the mafia?
But there is a price for all this advice. The Marshes don't want you to pay the government, but they will gladly take your money. Attending a lecture costs $20, and you're encouraged to purchase their books and newsletters. But to get the material to learn how to untax yourself, you'll have to spend more than $2,000. We bought one of their kits, and here's what we learned. Step 1. Make all your purchases in cash or money orders. No checks or credit cards to leave a paper trail. In fact, we used a money order to buy the kit. Pilot says that way the government can't learn of your interest in the group or their income. Step 2. Get rid of your Social Security number. Pilot teaches that by having yourself reclassified as an American national, they even provide a sample form to do it, you can escape the system and the IRS can't find you. Step 3. Change the withholding status on your W-4 form so that no money is deducted from your paycheck. Step 4, the most important step. Establish a trust fund and place all your assets, bank accounts, titles to your home and car in it. A trust is a legal means to hold and manage assets, normally under the control of someone else, a trustee. If you give your money to a trust, you're not responsible for its taxes. At the Dallas seminar we attended, they even urged us to use Pilot Connection contacts at banks and law offices.
Now, what you do is you wait until you get a bank account and name your trust before you decide to close out your existing bank account. One person I recommend you call is Armin Taylor. He's a Pilot Connection member and a lawyer.
All these steps, according to Pilot, mean you are no longer paying any money to the government, and you're no longer traceable through the Social Security system. You've effectively disappeared. Even if you hadn't, say the Marshes, it wouldn't matter.
When you get an IRS assessment, people go into panic and think they have to pay it. Not true.
Not true. If the
Absolutely
IRS
not.
tells you owe money, you don't have to pay.
No, ma'am. They don't have the authority to tell you you owe money. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
It's a voluntary system.
Pilot Connection Society, how may I direct your call?
The nerve center of the operation is in Stockton, California, where a staff of paralegals fields calls and researches IRS codes, while Phil comes up with the overall concepts.
And I think it's going to be a fabulous meeting.
Like many successful business people, he and Marlene offer an added incentive to satisfied customers. For $10,000, you can buy a franchise and spread the word yourself. They claim 300 such franchisees, which, added to their regular members, means the Marshes have earned at least $10 million, unreported dollars that are of great interest to the government. The IRS wants its share and has vigorously gone after Pilot and its assets. Twice in the past year, agents have raided the Marsh home and removed cartons of business records. They've also confiscated material from 2 financial planning businesses believed to be affiliated with Pilot and several franchisees across the country. According to the search warrant, they are running an ongoing criminal enterprise, advocating a money laundering scheme using offshore banking organizations to conceal the source of their funds and taxable income from the Internal Revenue Service. Authorities have claimed you are running, let me quote here, the biggest tax evasion scam in America.
Well, I can call you an elephant that doesn't make you one.
No.
And we are not tax evaders. We are tax avoiders, a totally legal position. The IRS tells you that the tax is voluntary in every document they publish, including the 1040 instruction booklet, and then turn around and tell you, yeah, it's voluntary, but of course you've got to volunteer. Give us a break.
Keep in mind, none of the steps in the untaxed package is illegal on its own. But when taken together for the purpose of dodging the IRS, they can make you a criminal. Ellen Murphy is a spokesperson for the IRS.
Illegal tax protesters make arguments like that are really semantics. The Internal Revenue Service administers a law in this country that is a voluntary self-assessment system, but it is not an optional system. You don't have an option to pay.
Where is it written that you don't have an option to pay?
In the Internal Revenue Code, Title 26 of the U.S. Code, which was enacted by Congress.
What, if anything, can you tell me about the Pilot Connection Society?
Basically, we're talking about a illegal tax protest scheme that makes some of the same arguments that have been being made for the last 30 years.
If you put your income, if you put your title to your house and everything into a trust, can you avoid paying income tax?
No. So the argument of set up a trust and it relieves you of the responsibility to file income tax is ridiculous. And it doesn't matter whether it's in the United States, offshore, or in outer space. It doesn't work.
Is it a felony to do that?
If it is done with an attempt to evade the income tax, yes, it is.
Is your money in a trust?
You better believe it.
A trust account cannot be attacked by the IRS. Trusts are legal. They are provided for in the IRS code at section 644 and 851 et sec.
We're talking about offshore, foreign offshore trusts?
No, not necessarily. We don't necessarily advocate offshore trust in any way, shape, or form. As a matter of fact, we don't really advocate trust per se.
But wait a minute, you say you don't really advocate trust per se?
No, ma'am.
If I may direct your attention to the monitor, we have videotape from one of your seminars.
Now, what you do is you wait until you get a bank account and name your trust beside before you decide to close out your existing bank account.
Now, it looks and sounds to me as if your folks are recommending trust.
Well, they are.
These groups also say that you can change from the status of being a U.S. citizen to an American national, and that then you can rescind your Social Security number that way.
Well, that's not a correct argument either. If you're a citizen of the United States, legally a citizen of the United States, and you have income subject to tax, you've got a tax liability and a requirement to file it.
And if you don't, you'll pay the price. Although they won't provide any names, the IRS says some 1,100 people using Pilot and other tax evasion programs have been prosecuted over the last 3 years. They say almost all have been convicted and sent to prison.
The first letter I received from the IRS came from Philadelphia, and it said, "You owe $56,000. Please remit the check."
Bob Sherman is trying to avoid jail after 2 years with Pilot. Already in trouble with the IRS by 1990 for non-filing, he was attracted by Pilot brochures promising help.
The front of the brochure had 4 letters, and it said fear, basically. You need not be in fear of the IRS. The Pilot Connection had said they could remove any liability, they could remove any liens against property, any levies that may be incurred, and basically take you out of the tax system. I found out that what I had been told was basically total fabrication.
Instead of being untaxed, Sherman saw his debt to the IRS grow to more than $86,000.
The total amount of money that I gave to the representatives of the Pilot Connection was $2,500. Now, for that $2,500, I received basically nothing.
There's people watching this who have been to the seminar, who are thinking of going to the seminars. Tell them why it's not a really good idea.
Because it costs too much. Not only is it costing them whatever fees or whatever they're paying, but it does not relieve them of their liability. It exposes them to interest and penalties and the potential for legal costs to defend themselves. It's just not worth it. It doesn't work, and it's not worth the effort.
And to the charge that you are giving people bad information, that people are going to incur major penalties and may even go to jail, your answer is?
They only use FEAR, ma'am. False evidence appearing real. They're lying. It's not true. If they were going to stop us, why hadn't they stopped me 11 years ago when I started? Or somewhere in between. I'm getting bigger and bigger all the time, and they can't stop me because I'm not doing anything illegal.
What we've seen through the years in the illegal tax protest schemes are that some people know exactly what they're doing, and they lead others astray, and some people are making they're making mistakes. I don't know how innocent they are, but they're making mistakes, and they're being hoodwinked by people who are out to make money, period, end of story.
Well, okay, Lynn, here they are on this program, and they say it's illegal. The other folks say it is illegal. If it's illegal, why aren't they in jail?
Well, they say it's legal. The IRS says it is absolutely illegal. The IRS also says they are just beginning their investigation and that it takes a long time. Don't forget, these people have very few records. So their income is not all recorded. So it takes the IRS a long time to go through it. But they claim they're going to get them.
What about people who have done this? Have they gotten away with it?
Some of them have. But, you know, the IRS told us that if people will come forward, just because they've been at one of these pilot meetings doesn't mean they're necessarily going to go to jail. If people will come forward, they say, and help them with the investigation and work with them, like Bob Sherman, the victim we showed you, then they'll be all right. It's the Marshes who they're really after.
But look, if individually each step is legal, you stick them all together and it's illegal?
Because the purpose is to evade taxes. You cannot in this country not pay taxes. You cannot not report your income. And when you take it together, that's what the package is. That's what they say they're doing. That's what's illegal.
Individually, in some circumstances, you can do it. Altogether, it's illegal.
Against the law, you will go to jail.
There's a new one every week. Thank you, Lynn.